As we inch closer to New Year's Eve, you may be checking your liquor cabinets to stock up for parties, but a big trend in the refreshment sector this year has been the growth of non-alcoholic beverages. Online ordering and delivery platform Drizly seeing the share of non-alcoholic beverages growing 62% since last year. For more on this and much more about what's going on in the space, we turn to Liz Paquette, head of consumer insights at Drizly. Liz, it's good to see you. I do want to dig into the non-alcoholic, but first I just want to kind of ask you big picture. What has surprised you the most this year? I know non-alcoholic has seen a big change. What are the trends that have sort of stood out the most, surprised you the most as you reflect on the year?
Sure. And thank you so much for having me. So in terms of what has surprised me most this year, non-alc has definitely been one of those that has moved from being an upcoming trend to a trend that is here to stay. This is something that consumers are going to continue to look to when they're hosting, celebrating, having everyday kind of occasions with friends and family. So last year, non-alc sales were up about 34%. They're up about 62% this year. And what's driving that in large part, which is interesting, is that non-alc beer is actually the number one subcategory within the non-alc category specifically. However, we're seeing spirits accelerate quite a bit this year with sales in that category up 162%. So finding that consumers are looking to make more mocktails at home, which is in large part a trend that is in line with overall consumption within the bev alc category as well. Consumers continue to mix cocktails at home kind of post-pandemic as they created this new behavior.
And Liz, I'm interested for consumers, on your platform right now, how are they spending, Liz? Are they spending up for the more expensive drinks or kind of downshifting to less expensive drinks?
Yeah, so absolutely value is a bigger indicator for consumers this year and something that's critically important for purchase. We're seeing delivery of the bev alc category continuing to be strong in this year. However, consumers are citing value for their money as one of the main indicators of something that's important to them when purchasing. And then we're seeing that reflected in average unit prices as well. So in the spirits category specifically, while this is our number one top selling category on the platform, and we actually saw some growth in this category year over year, we are seeing the average unit price decreasing actually year over year by about 3%. And we're finding two shifts within the price points that consumers are purchasing within that as well. So while in years prior, it was in last year specifically, it was 40 plus that we had more sales or a higher percentage of sales in this category. We're seeing consumers trade down a little bit more in the spirits category specifically this year. And interestingly, though, in wine, we're seeing folks are actually continuing to trade up a little bit more in this category when compared to spirits. So average unit price is pretty flat year over year in wine specifically, and we're seeing consumers purchase at a higher price point overall.
I want to zero in on beer specifically because 2023 was not good for beer, both sort of on a big public relations front, but also on people actually buying beer, which didn't do much. And on your platform, share beer sales flat here. Is anything going to change next year? And if so, what is going to make it change?
Yeah, so on paper, this doesn't look like a great story, but I actually see this as a little bit of a potential turnaround on the horizon for beer. So we've seen declines actually within this category over this past couple of years in particular. And this year, seeing beer be largely flat actually indicates potential for growth in the future from my perspective. When you look at core beer on our category, so that excludes hard alternatives like hard seltzers, hard lemonades, which are grouped within that beer category, we're seeing it actually up slightly year over year. And in the last 3 months in particular, core beer has seen even more of an increase when we look year over year. And then specifically light lager, which saw some significant declines from a share perspective as hard seltzer had that big trajectory over the last few years. We're seeing that now increase. So we're anticipating that actually this coming year might be the start of a slight comeback for beer in the coming years.
And as we head into the new year here, Liz, what's most popular? Is it all champagne right now?
It's not all champagne, although we do anticipate that champagne will continue to be the top seller for New Year's Eve this year. When looking at December sales this year compared to last year, we have seen slight declines in champagne year over year. It was knocked out of the number 4 spot on the platform by vodka. So cocktails are also a big go-to for this holiday. It's a huge hosting occasion. People are gathering, mixing up different beverages for their guests. And with spirits being, of course, the number 1 seller on the platform, we'll see that actually continue to be the case here for this holiday as well. So we'll anticipate champagne to be number one. We'll anticipate vodka and actually reposado tequila to be big sellers for this holiday. Liqueurs, cordials, as people look to make those cocktails at home, we anticipate those will be top sellers as well. And then this is a trend that actually began last year, but we're also seeing that continue this year, that Prosecco has continued to increase in share pretty significantly year over year as well. And we anticipate that while it won't necessarily kick champagne out of that top spot, it will be sparkling that folks are reaching to en masse for this New Year's Eve occasion.
And Liz, finally, just want to circle around back to where we started, which is in the non-alc category.
Sure.
Again, sort of anecdotally, I've definitely noticed an expansion in the number of offerings within that category. What do you think we're going to see on that front in the coming year here? You know, just the accessibility and the what's out there that's available for people.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of the things that is, of course, driving the growth in the category, right? Beyond the wellness trends, consumers' general awareness of the category and normalization of a sober curiosity movement. The fact that there's so much innovation in this space is going to continue to contribute to that growth. What's really interesting is ready-to-drink cocktails continue to be one of the top sellers on the platform and one of the fastest growing on the platform. And we actually see RTDs growing in the non-alc space specifically as well. So not only are you seeing more traditional beer, wine, and spirits in the non-alc space, but you're also seeing cocktails come into play now. Lots of mixers, bitters, cordials kind of getting into the mix with these spirits. So I think you'll just continue to see growth across the board and anticipate that spirits are going to be the category that we see that the most in this coming year.
All right, we'll be watching. Liz, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Happy New Year.
You too.